Absolute top talent, as we all know, in the UFC's welterweight division. It is the one and only Ian Garry. Ian, how are you, my friend? What a year it's been for you. First of all, man, I've got to ask, how's everyone? How's the family? How's Leandro? How's everything going?
Dude, amazing. I'm just blessed that everyone is happy and healthy and safe. And yeah, it was a perfect birth. My wife's healthy. She's like just perfect. She's amazing. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to even have a child. And yeah, I just look forward to watching him grow. And it's just every night I sit there and I look at him and I'm like, oh, I'm so in love.
Deadly. Talk to me about that, Ian. Has that changed your perspective? Obviously, you know, when you have a kids and you're fighting, and it's a very different lifestyle to sort of the average person. Have you a different outlook now, possibly on your fighting career and your family? How do you juggle that about, and how do you perceive that yourself?
So I've been thinking about this recently in regards to like, how is it going to change? Like, me and my wife speak about it, like fight week. How is it going to change? Like all these little things, because you don't think about it when you're not a parent, and then you go and you have a child, and it's like, well, I don't want to spend the night away from my little boy the night before a fight or anything like that. Like, I don't want to detach. And also there's a happy energy around seeing him. It's like, I think, firstly, I don't need any distractions on fight week, but what a beautiful one to like see my son every day and bring him around fight week and just not be distracted, but also have just him around. I think that would be massive. But I also think absolutely having a little boy there who I know I want to make sure that we all don't want CT, right? We want to be able to remember our kids' names. So I want to make sure that my fights are clinical, that my fights are me getting in and out as fast as I can now. Like, I enjoy fighting. I have no problem going to decision all the time. Like, I enjoy it. I always want to finish, but I feel like this is going to make me more venomous, more aggressive, but even more clinical.
Wow. And yeah, more clinically, you've obviously talked about that, and you've been over in the UK back for a while, with Layla's family. You've been over in Dublin as well. But you've been training with Leon Edwards and the guys, Tom Breeze, up at Rnegade MMA. Speak to me about that experience. Like, I've seen some of the stuff on Instagram. I've seen some of the stuff on Twitter where I think Leon, you're on the receiving end of a head kick. How has that experience been? Obviously, the guys there, it's just sort of a different asset. It's going to sharpen your tools in sort of different ways. Probably than you have a Killcliff MMA under Henry Hooft. We'll talk about that in a second. But speak to me about that. Obviously, a great experience for you.
So I was really excited to come back to the UK and slow down my training. Obviously, because in Killcliff, it's just flat out ready to fight, ready to go at any given point in time. Like, that was my attitude. And I feel like sometimes when you're in that attitude, it's hard to go back to the basics and fundamentally fix little holes that will inevitably win you world titles, if that makes sense. Okay. So to fix the little things, to make sure that the whole game is just that little bit better every single fight. And that's what I've always tried to do. But I really wanted to put a lot of emphasis on that coming back to the UK, to have my child to go, right, I can have a lot of time now to learn and grow and fix some things that I know that I want to get better at, that are going to help me in the long term. And that was a lot of that. So going up to and meeting, like, I messaged Tom Breeze. I said, hey, Tom, can I come up and train? He said, absolutely, it'd be a pleasure. Because I wanted to learn from him. He has such a vast grappling knowledge. Like, the people he's
unbelievable.
GSP, Gordon, like, he's part of the Danaher Death Squad. You know what I mean? Like I say part of it. He trained with them all. Like, he knows all the guys. Like, the wealth of knowledge he has in grappling is ridiculous. And I wanted to learn from him. And then the added benefit of going up and being able to spar and train with Leon and Fabian Edwards and the likes of that, like, it was just silly for me not to travel up there. So yeah, it's been amazing.
Fabian's a huge fight announced as well. Bellator announced yes, he's going to be taking on Gegard Mousasi in Paris. That's an absolute banger. You mentioned just there quickly, you wanted to improve. What areas do you feel as though maybe you're a little bit short in? You mentioned there.
Well, I don't think I would. The word short on wouldn't be the word. It would more be just like the length of time you have to learn, like, to become a black belt, right? They say it's 10 years.
Yeah.
There isn't enough that you can learn in those 10 years to get yourself there faster. It's a case of, like, making sure that all the fundamental details are correct. because everything stems from them. And it was just going back and revision, going back over them and making sure that they were correct. And when you try to delve into something so deep, you kind of forget those simple little details that can easily help you escape or lock up a submission. And it's little things like that I wanted to work on, just to give myself that overall game plan that I want to go with this year. I want a finish on the feet, I want a submission, and I want to make someone quit.
So we're getting three fights this year.
3 fights this year. That's my goal every year. 3 fights every year.
Good stuff. Is that affiliation going forward you're going to keep there? Is that going to be something you can always go back to if there's a fight maybe on this side of the pond? Will Rnegade be the place you'll go to?
I absolutely think we're going to be spending a lot more time in the UK.
Okay.
I think that makes more sense. I think the plan is to travel out and do my fight camps in Kilcliff with the unbelievable training partners and trainers that I have there. I think it's idiotic not to go out there and train with those guys. It's the best place for me to get ready for a fight. And then when we come back here and we have that kind of recovery period for everyone, for me, for the family, I think I'm going to go up and train with the guys at Rnegade and sharpen the tools and focus on the fundamental things. I've been doing a lot of work with Leon's pad man, Henry Clemson. He's phenomenal as well. So to be able to have all the necessary pieces of the puzzle to grow in the UK and in America, it means everything's easier. It means we can be the nomadic fighter that I want to be, and that I can find everyone anywhere I need to be and get what I need.
Perfect.
And you said about fighting on this side of the pond, right?
Yeah.
That's happening. I'm going to make sure that happens.
Oh,
soon, right. That's my goal. That's my goal this year, right? Is to make sure that the UFC come back to Dublin. All I have to do, in my opinion, is put 2 solid fights in. Get 2 finishes this year. Get one in March. Get one in July. In my mindset, and then shout for it, scream for it, be like, "Let's get the fight night in Dublin. Let's get them back."
Yeah, I never understand what every year, and you know how long I've been covering this sport. Always in the UK on Paddy's weekend. Why don't they come over to Dublin and do one on Paddy's weekend? It's honestly, it's beyond belief. But hopefully,
I don't know.
Hopefully, we'll get one in the last quarter of the year.
Maybe next year. What I'll do, I'll tell you what. When I go on the winning spree that I'm going to go on again, and continue this run, right? I get the ball rolling again. Everyone's hyped and excited. What I'll do is I'll talk to the boys at the UFC and I'll say, let's go to Ireland before we do the March card in the UK.
Definitely.
There we go. Well, you're bringing the cage over. You just have to pop it across the pond.
That's it.
It's easy for everyone.
It's not rocket science, Ian.
Right?
Oh, you're a legend. You're a legend. I appreciate it. Eno, listen, what is left on your UFC contract? I'm interested to know that. How many fights is there left on your deal at the moment?
So I signed a 4-fight deal.
4 fights. So this is the last fight in your deal.
There ain't no last fight. I'm gonna be fighting in the UFC for as long as I want to fight.
Oh no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
UFC champion, and it's gonna be a long thing. So don't worry about anything like that. I'm gonna keep fighting, and everything's gonna get better.
No, I get that, but you're in a good sort of bargaining position now, obviously, with your stock sort of going up at the moment. So you can obviously, maybe throw out a few numbers there and see what the UFC come back to you with.
100%. I mean, I see a lot of people talking about the UFC kind of numbers and the pay and fighter pay. It's like, I signed the contract. I was very happy to sign the contract when I was given it, and I'm still very happy with it now. And the fact that it can get better because I've worked my ass off and proved myself and got 3 massive wins in the UFC. That's me earning what I'm going to be worth. That's me going out there and proving to myself, but also to the organization that I am fucking the shit. So that's amazing.
100%. And listen, I think we've seen a lot, obviously, of rumoured sort of matchups and fights, and something that obviously has caught my eye. We'll talk about Bryan Barberena in a moment, but I want to get your obviously yourself and Stephen Wonderboy Thompson have you've trained a little bit. I think you're good pals at the moment. But that tweet was interesting to me. What did you mean behind that? Like, is that something obviously you'd like to do in the future? Is there sort of an agreement, maybe you and Stephen, that we trained together a little bit, but we will throw down possibly in the future?
No, I think so. I met Wonderboy at Karate Combat. My wife hosts the show.
Yeah, I know it well.
Yeah, and I met him there, and it was an absolute honor. It was a pleasure. Like, I really get on with him. I think
Yeah, he's a lovely
he's a
fella.
really cool person. He's such a genuine
Yeah.
man. Like, everything about him, he's so nice. But I like every fight that he's been in. When you think about it, like, they've all been wrestlers and grapplers and people trying to stop him and take him down. It's like we seen Kevin Holland go in their fight in Orlando.
Yeah.
And go, do you know what? I don't want to take you down. I want to fight. I want to fight the way I want to see Wonder Boy. Like, I want to beat Wonder Boy. I don't want to beat Wonder Boy by wrestling. And that's my attitude. It's like I appreciate and respect Wonder Boy in his game so much that I would love to see, like, him come to the end of his coming to the end of his career. Like, we know he's not going to be fighting as regularly, I would imagine. Do you know what I mean? He's at a certain level now where he doesn't need to fight 3, 4, 5 times a year. I would just love to see him put in there against elite world class strikers, because I think it's just like you're going to give the fans such a beautiful spectacle to sit there and watch. So yeah, me versus Wonder Boy is something that I would love to do. For me, because I'd love to test myself against someone who's been regarded as one of the best strikers in MMA. And for him, because it's like, dude, I'm not going to take you down. Let's stand and bang and let's put on a show for the fans.
What a fighter. I totally agree. Everything you said about Wonder Boy. He's an absolute gentleman. I've interviewed him a number of times. Top guy. But there's someone, and listen, we've talked about this before, Ian. You've sort of, this guy is sort of, I think obviously the Robbie Lawler thing was mentioned there recently as well, but
yeah.
Bryan Barberena, you've sort of called for him before. You mentioned to me when you did an interview last year, I think it was July. Yeah. Why are you so keen on Bryan? Do you think he's the name that sort of puts you up that next level of fighter if you were to throw down against Bryan and get a win over him? What's the feeling of the situation towards Bryan Barberena?
Well, the initial thing is I'd absolutely maul him. I think there's nowhere where I lose. Like, I don't think he's better than me anywhere. But I also think that the highlight reel that I could rack up from that fight, this combinations that I would hit him with would be phenomenal. And I think it would just be a beautiful stage for me to show the world even more, again, how good I am. And he is highly respected. I mean, when you look at his last fights, he's fought 2 former world champions in Robbie Lawler and Rafael dos Anjos. I mean, how can you not? When I look at those 2 guys and I think, right, he's fought 2 ex-champions. Now I want to see him against a future champ. And what the difference is in speed, in power, in technique, I'll just be so much more crisp and clean. And I believe he'll just be a punching bag in that fight, to be absolutely honest.
Ian, I think you've chilled out. I think you've chilled out a little bit since you've had a little kid. There's not that just utter boldness about you. Have you matured a little bit, do you think?
A little bit. Yeah, I've had to. What boldness are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying, like, maybe a year ago or 12 minutes ago, you'd be like, oh, fuck this, motherfucker, that sort of way. And, but there's that sort of, maybe it's a little bit more clarity. Is that a good word to use? On your journey and what you want to do?
Well, I think it's like when I've been watching a lot more fighters and I've been watching a lot of their interviews, I smashed this guy, I beat this guy, I'll tump the mouth off him. It's like, you're a fighter, all right, we expect you to do that. Like, that's your job. But I think when I look at fights, it's like I know my potential, I know how good I am, and I know what I can do to people. And it's like I just don't see a realm in where the likes of Bryan Barberena can ever beat me. But I think the fans will get a show. There's a lot to talk about, the fact that he's tough. He's a veteran in the sport. Can this young prospect go out there and do what he thinks he can? And I'm going to go out and do exactly what I know I can. Like, absolutely school him and then move up the rankings.
So you're basically what you're saying is you're believing more in your ability and you're letting your fighting do the talking to a certain extent.
I've always wanted my fighting to do the talking.
Yeah.
Like, I've always just been that loud, confident, slightly arrogant kid as well at the same time. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've still got the biggest ego in the world. But it's like, I've proven myself now. I've had 3 fights in the UFC. Yeah. I'm 10-0. I'm undefeated. Like, and I've fought in 3 massive pay-per-views. Like, people throughout my entire career have said, this guy's going to lose, this guy's going to fight a grappler, he's going to get beat. I smoked that ground. this guy's going to fight a wrestler, he's going to get beat. I smoked Darren Weeks. Do you know what I mean? All these little things. And I'm always fighting the guy that I'm offered. I say yes, I fight the guy, and then I move on. I've never turned down someone. I've never not had a fight like with someone because I didn't want to fight their style. I can beat anyone on any given day. When you look at the top 10 in the UFC, right? I believe I can beat every single person on that list. Doesn't mean I will. Right now, I have the belief and the skill to be able to beat every single one of them. I just got to keep winning and keep doing my thing. And then all of those challenges are going to arise at one point in time. I'm going to fight 2 or 3 guys from that top 10 eventually. And I look forward to it.
I agree. No, I agree. So tell me, what is the turnaround? When do you want to fight Ian? When do you want to get back? And you've mentioned 3 fights this year. So when will fans see you back in the octagon?
It all starts in March, I believe. I think March is when I want to make my return. I'm eager to get in and fight again. I'm excited to get in and fight again. I want to put on a show. I love it. I miss it. So I want to get in there and kind of feel that energy again. So I believe the start of the fighting in 2023 will be March. Go out there, get a massive win. And then I believe fight July, August, and then find a time to try persuade the UFC to come back to the Emerald Isle towards the end of the year. That would be my ideal 2023.
And listen, opponent wise, you've mentioned Bryan Barberena. Is that the sole fighter that seems to be on your mind at the moment? It does, obviously, from social media traction and what you've sort of said in the last number of weeks, but can we confirm that is the guy that you want to throw down against?
Oh, 100%. That's the guy I want for March. I think that is the perfect fight to start the new year off. It will generate so much hype, so much publicity, and the fact that, would you watch that fight?
Of course I'd watch that fight. Yeah, I think it's a great fight.
Would you be interested in it from a stylistic point of view?
Yeah, because I think Bryan's sort of good everywhere. He's solid. He always gets in there and throws down. I think for you at this stage in your UFC career, it is the sort of perfect step up, in my opinion, that I think the UFC should throw you in against a guy of that level. He's been there, done that.
Exactly.
And there's a good little narrative around it as well, obviously, with him sort of beating Robbie Lawler, who's a teammate of yours. And I know that they've thrown around the word, revenge and stuff. And obviously that is sort of a side plot. It's something you'd obviously like to do as a team to get one back over on him. But I think in terms of a fight, a stylistic matchup, the narrative around it, it's absolutely perfect for you at this stage in your career.
And that's exactly how I feel. And I feel like when I think about the fight, everyone will think the same way you have. Which is why I'm excited for that fight. Why I want my friends, my fans, everyone who supports me and wants to see me win or wants to see me lose will tune in because they think, oh, Barberena's tough. He's not an easy fight. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's an easy fight. But I am well aware of my skill set and what I can do to him. And I believe that I will walk through him because I'm so good at what I do. I don't think there's any challenges he will bring to me that I've never seen or trained with. You know what I mean? Any of the guys I've trained with are all phenomenal. So I know every type of style and I've seen every look. I just got to go in there and prove it to the fans and prove it to Bryan himself, because if he does sign the contract, if we do get offered to fight each other and he signs the contract, that means he thinks he can beat me. And my favourite thing in the world to do is to prove I'm right.
We know that.
So when he stands across that octagon for me, I'm like, you signed a fucking contract to fight me. You think you can beat me? I've got to make sure you know that that's wrong, mate. So that's the perfect way to start the year off, I believe. And then you get that hype. You go in there, you smoke, and you run through them, and I get a massive KO.
Yeah.
Then I fight middle of the year. International fight week. Maybe they do an Abu Dhabi in August, for example.
Yeah.
We fight there. We get another show. We fight another guy who's going to be highly ranked and highly touted. We go in there and we take care of him, and then we shout for that UFC Dublin. That's the goal.
Savage. One more on Barberena. What did you make of the tweet he put out? He said, does a bear shit in the woods? Is that sort of him looking at you, do you think, and sort of underestimating your, what sense would it be from his point of view to fight you? How do you feel about that?
I think it means his game. I mean, he's saying there's a bear shit in the woods. Cool, yeah. So, in his opinion, I'm pretty sure he means, obviously, let's go. I seen him call out Shavkat in January, so
Yeah.
I know he's ready sharp against a teammate of mine. So I was keeping an eye on that because I wanted to see was he getting matched up or anything. I seen that he called out Jake Matthews for the Perth card in February. So I'm like, this guy's game. So when he's saying that, I think it just means I'm down. Let's go. Which is exactly what I want to hear because he's the guy I want, and I'm going to make sure that I get that fight. That's my goal. That is the fight I want.
Book it, Sean. Book it, Sean and Mick. Get it done, boys.
Exactly.
I think it's a great fight. I do agree with you.
It just makes so much sense. It makes so much sense.
Totally agree.
And I look forward to it. I hope it happens. And the UFC are very good at what they do. And when you look, like you said, as a fan, when you look at it, it makes a lot of sense. So let's make it happen.
Definitely.
Let me go in there. Let me absolutely annihilate him. What finish do you want to see?
You tell me, and that's,
No, you tell me. You tell me what you want to see.
Okay, all right, okay. What finish do you want to see? Okay,
keep in mind, if
all right, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Okay, Leon Edwards head kick. Yeah.
Okay.
Can we do that? Yeah, I'm holding you to that one. So we're going to get a Leon Edwards head kick.
A head kick.
Yeah. Deal. So that's the finish. 100%.
100%. I'll tell you. I'll make you a deal between me and you. If I'm right, you book the golf round. If I'm wrong, I'll book the golf round. 100%.
100%. Myself and Ian are playing golf in the next few months, so watch out for that, guys. It's going to be a banger. Maybe, possibly even in Florida. Right, Ian, one more for you.
Again.
Florida, yeah.
Courses, so again,
that's it. We'll get Tiger. We'll get Tiger down. We'll get who else is living in Florida? The golfers. No, the Texas boys. We'll get everyone down.
Fleetwood. You've got all the boys.
We've got all the boys. I got the contacts, Dino. Where did we found?
Why don't we just get Rory?
All in there. Forget McIlroy. Forget McIlroy. We go for a few points with Shane Lowry. That'd be better crack. Right, one more for you. And it's been obviously an amazing 2022 for you. It was, incredible year. You got married, you had a kid. Your UFC career is still unbeaten. You also did something, and I don't think it's really got maybe as enough coverage as it should do. And I often think this, and I say this. I actually put out a tweet earlier today that, in the mainstream media, a lot of times only the negative sort of things are picked up. But you've joined that South London Gloves Not Guns initiative. Fantastic thing. Just speak to me about that, Ian, and what that means to you, and how did you get involved in that?
So I'm obviously over the moon to be asked to be an ambassador. Like the fact that they wanted me to be someone who can just get kids excited. I mean, that's what it is really. It's about how, just what Gloves Not Guns do is phenomenal. I mean, Croydon is known as the knife capital of London. Yeah. It's a safe place, Gloves Not Guns, for them to go and learn and train and get off the streets and to learn some jiu-jitsu, learn some boxing, to have some fun in a safe environment and just try limit crime. And I got into it because one of the guys I trained with, Memento Mori Jiu-Jitsu in Rnegade, he runs it. And he said, look, man, I run this organization. I'd love you to pop down. I think the kids will get a real kick out of you coming down. And I was super excited when they said it. I've always said, I want to give back in any way possible. When all is said and done with my UFC career, I want to open up a gym and try have it free of membership so that people can not worry about joining fee, or you often you see kids I can't join this gym because it's too expensive, or yada yada yada. I never want a kid to have that. I feel that is, knowledge should be free. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
And I feel for me, I would love to be able to pass on knowledge to all these kids because it's self-defense. What I do is self-defense.
Of course.
I'm a part of an organization that praises and pays me to knock other people out. So it's a bit, my situation is a bit backwards.
Yeah, well, jiu-jitsu was originally set up as a defensive mixed martial art.
Of course, and that's what it is. It's all inevitably a self-defense kind of program, and I would love kids to feel confident walking down the street knowing that they have that in them. They know that they can defend themselves. And I'd love to be able to do that eventually, to give back to the community. And any way I can do it, I'd love to do that. And that was the perfect opportunity for me to be an ambassador for Gloves Not Guns, because I see the good work they're doing. I see how happy the kids are when I'm down there. And
amazing.
It's phenomenal. And I look forward to being a part of their community. I look forward to being part of their future and all good things to come. And yeah, hopefully we can do that in Dublin as well, and
Brilliant.
we can just help everyone, because it should be the case. And take violence off the streets. Kids don't need to be getting involved in violence. Do you know what I mean? They need to be having fun. And that's what I believe it should be.
I totally agree with you. Dublin seems to be getting worse by the day here at the moment as well. Through the crime in town, it's absolutely shocking how bad I think the city's gotten, how unsafe people feel walking around. I think that's a great thing. Fair play to you for doing that. Listen, Garry, look. Do you not notice I've got my hat on the golf club out? We're gonna get after that one soon. Listen, Ian, always appreciate it, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing you getting back in there. In a couple of months, as you said. I think everyone's excited about it as well. And listen, say hello to the family, Layla, and give Leandro a high five from me as well. And really appreciate it as always, Ian. Top man.
No, thank you, man. I appreciate it. And hey, don't worry, I'll get the UFC back.
Good man.
If you want to see more videos like this, do hit the subscribe button and also the notification button so you don't miss any future updates. You can also catch us on social media and also give the video a thumbs up. It does help. Thanks, guys.